Good afternoon, Professor. Good afternoon, class. I hope you're all doing well, and I hope you all had a wonderful Easter weekend. For this week's assignment, I decided to speak on ropes and knots and their function within the fire service. Every firefighter is taught in their basic fire academy ropes and knots. Therefore, every firefighter is expected to know how to implement ropes and knots, whether it be on the training ground or on an emergency scene. And the way I've decided to structure this video is in 3 different parts. I would like to talk about the different parts of the rope and the different parts of a knot in part 1. In part 2, I would like to talk about tying the knot and teaching you how to tie the knot. And in part 3, I would like to talk about implementing that knot, whether it be in personal use or on the fire ground. So, let's get into it. Part 1, I want to talk about the actual parts of the rope, and that is we have our rope and we have our working end, and the working end is simply the end that you are going to be working with. And the other parts of the rope, all the way to the very end, is referred to as the standing end, because it's just standing around doing nothing. Okay, let's move on to the parts of a knot. The parts of a knot are the bite, and the bite is simply achieved very simply by taking the working end and bringing it next to the standing end, just like that. Next, we're going to have the loop, and the loop is very easily achieved by simply looping the rope over top of itself, just like that, okay? Now, let's get into tying the knot. The knot that I've chosen for this is the bowline. And the bowline, while it can be seem to be a very confusing knot, it's really not, no pun intended. So, to tie the bowline, all you're going to do is simply take your rope, ensure that you have enough working end left to finish the knot. You're going to make a loop in the rope. Once you do that, you're going to take your working end and you're going to say this little saying in your head as you tie it. The rabbit comes through the hole, so the working end comes through the hole, around the tree, and back down through the hole. And as you pull it, that is what you should be looking for right there, is a bowline. Now, we're almost done. One last step. In the fire service, we like to think of safety as being the #1 priority. So, we're not done here. Just in case this slips, we're going to form an overhand safety. And the way we do that is we take the remainder of our working end and we simply go around like that and back through. Just like tying your shoe, just a simple overhand knot. And that right there is your bowline with the overhand safety. So, for part 3, I'd like to demonstrate how this is implemented. So I'm going to swing this around, bring it into frame here. So we're going to imagine that this is a ladder or a fan or any surface that you can tie around that needs to be hoisted, whether it be to the 2nd floor or to the roof, whatever it may be. So to do this, again, we're going to tie a bowline. We're going to form a loop in the rope, and now we're going to have one extra step, and that is simply to go around the object that needs to be hoisted or lifted or moved. And then once we do that, we're going to say the rabbit comes through the hole, goes around the tree, and then back down through the hole. And then we're going to pull it taut, and our last step is going to be tying our overhand safety, which is simply performed like you're tying your shoe. It's just that easy. So, in conclusion, I would like to mention that ropes and knots are a vital skill within the fire service, because as firefighters, we don't know if we're going to simply be hoisting a ladder or a fan to the 2nd floor or to the roof, or hanging off the side of a cliff to rescue an injured hiker. So I would like to say thank you to everyone, my professor, all my classmates who have given me positive feedback and who have helped me along this way. And have a great day.